Our lives are fundamentally different, in the sense that not everyone enjoys the same quality of life. We live in a world where some people enjoy better lives than others, whether it's due to our geographical location or many other factors equally important that contribute to a good life. But what about Minecraft mobs? Do they live good lives? Which ones enjoy better lives than others? And what are the means to assess the quality of life of Minecraft mobs? It turns out that the things that determine the quality of life of Minecraft mobs to be better from one another are not too different from ours. Over the last few weeks, I've been flooded with comments debating which mobs have it best or worst. Now, I narrowed it down to 4 criterion that I'll use to assess the quality of life of Minecraft mobs. First, freedom. Freedom is not only a key component in our lives, but plays a huge role in the lives of mobs as well. Having the ability to move freely around the world without having many constraints on us is as big of a component in determining our quality of life as it is for mobs. Some mobs are constrained to structures or specific biomes, some tend to get tamed or farmed for their loot, while others have environmental restrictions put on them. These are all factors that determine the freedom of a Minecraft mob. Second, health and security. Each Minecraft mob has a health bar, but since that's pretty much the only means to measure a mob's health status in Minecraft, I put it as a component in the overall criteria of security. Feeling secure in your environment plays a big role in how good we feel about ourselves. So do Minecraft mobs. Things such as a mob's health points or ability to retaliate or defend itself, and an inclination to attack or the frequency at which the mob is exposed to threats, whether the mob is immune to certain damage types such as fall damage, projectiles or fire, whether the player deems you worthy of being farmed, and whether you have to die to provide inherent benefits to the player, all contribute to how secure a Minecraft mob feels in its environment. Third, purpose. We live our lives with a self-imposed sense of purpose, or at least we think we do. Having a purpose in life, however small, might significantly contribute to our overall welfare. Well, you guessed it, this seems to be a recurring concept to Minecraft mobs as well. A mob might have all the freedom in the world or be incredibly secure, but not having a purpose can significantly downgrade a mob's quality of life. Now, how do you even measure purpose in mobs to begin with? Turns out there are quite a few ways to measure this. Does the mob provide utility for gameplay? And does it contribute to the ecosystem? There seem to be quite a few mobs that don't really add anything meaningful to the game. I'm looking at you, Llama. Does the mob have any meaningful interactions with the player? Does the mob contribute with loot? And if so, does it have to contribute with its life? Does the mob provide a narrative value, or does it protect a significant monument? Lastly, does the mob have a baby variant? This one seems a bit odd, but having a baby variant gives off a sense of purpose and responsibility, which I happen to ascribe to Minecraft mobs. Fourth, happiness. Okay, you might think, how are you going to measure a mob's happiness? And you'd be totally justified to ask that, because at the end of the day, mobs don't necessarily exhibit signs of happiness or sadness. I mean, some mobs you can just look at and sense the misery, such as the creeper that has a constant frown on his face accompanied by the tendencies to end itself. Or the warden who has an extra large frown. In fact, it chose to trade its sense of sight to exacerbate the outward projection of a frowning mouth shape. Or maybe it's not even a mouth? Anyways, you get it. Well, instead of happiness being a standalone metric of measurement, I combine kind of everything. Freedom, safety, and purpose all contribute to happiness, alongside whether the mob is undead or alive. And lastly, if it's breedable. Yes, you heard me right. Can we breed it? Okay, now that we got through the criterion, we can jump right into where each mob sits in this. But now you might be asking, how do you grade each mob? I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of it, but essentially each mob is going to be analyzed for the characteristics I mentioned earlier, after which they'll receive their respective grade, for each criterion ranging from 0 to 1. If the mob gets a score of 0.5 and above in any of the criterion, it receives a point. If at the end the mob has received 0 points, it goes into the horrible life category. If it gets 1 point, it goes into the bad life category, so on and so forth. The maximum amount of points a mob can get is 4 points for all 4 criterion, which will automatically put it in the amazing life category. At the end, the single mob with the highest average score will be crowned the mob with the best quality of life. Great, let's start by going in alphabetical order. Kind of, starting with the Allay. While the freedom of an Allay is severely restricted due to its spawning in captivity, its ability to collect and deliver items serves a good purpose. The Allay is not hunted by other mobs, which puts it out of most dangers. However, it lacks any means of defense, but since it doesn't have to die to provide value to the player, it gets 2 points, landing it in the OK life category. Armadillo. Armadillos being restricted to a single biome coupled with the loot they provide that's useful for players in making wolf armor puts their freedom index quite low, while all other indices are quite high, due to the purpose they provide and the fact that they have defense mechanisms in place and tend to mostly be ignored by most mobs. Good life. Axolotl. Axolotls spawn underground, having limited mobility, and the time they do get to spend outside of a cave is when the player swoops them with a bucket. Say bye to your free life. Mobs such as Guardians tend to attack Axolotls, however their defense capabilities and the fact that they can play dead elevates their safety score. Good life. Bat. Bats have the second highest freedom score among all mobs due to the fact that they are free to roam without having to worry about getting killed, captured, or exploited. They don't drop anything valuable and most players don't bother killing them. They do however lack massively in the purpose department and tend to fly into open lava sources or finding themselves in the crossfire of some juicy skeleton fights. Good life. Bee. There's not much to say about the bee except that it provides a good purpose, with everything else being pretty decent. They do tend to get turned into bee farms though. Amazing life. Blaze. The first nether mob and the results are about what we would expect from a nether mob. The blaze is tied to the nether fortress, massively limiting its freedom. And by being a primal target for most players, it also lacks in the safety score. It does serve a massive purpose however, therefore it lands a spot in the bad life category. Breeze. The breeze, while restricted to the trial chambers, does have a boost in freedom due to its ability to fly, and it more or less being the face of trial chambers and dropping breeze rods undoubtedly elevates its purpose quite a bit. Nevertheless, the fact that it can easily be farmed significantly affects its safety score. Okay life. Camel. Camels, unlike other horse replacements, do actually serve a better purpose, as in they can carry multiple people and can do these dash-like jumps. They are very safe since they are not exposed to external threats, and look at this smile. He is clearly a happy boy. They do lack a bit in freedom though, since well, who doesn't want to have one of these leashed up in the back of their house and forget about them after using them once? Anyways, good life. Cat. Cats in Minecraft enjoy surprisingly amazing lives. While their purpose is somewhat limited, their ability to scare off creepers makes them unexpectedly valuable. And apparently cats can deliver gifts? Did you know about that? I certainly didn't. As for their wild cousins, the Ocelots, they lead a more untamed existence, roaming freely in the jungle biomes and evading hostile mobs with ease. While they lack the domesticated charm of gift giving, their stealth and natural safety instincts make them just as content in their habitat. Together they live lives most mobs could only dream of. Amazing life. Creaking. The Creaking is a relatively weird mob. It might not even be a living being that possesses some form of consciousness because it's a literal tree branch with eyes. It's kinda worthless and most players only go to the Pale Garden for the white wood. It barely serves a purpose and is confined to the heart that keeps it alive and vehemently controls it around a tiny radius. It's basically a miserable existence. Horrible life. Creeper. It's no secret that creepers don't necessarily enjoy a good life, which is self-explodatory, but at least they get to enjoy a lot of freedom before going out with a bang. Bad life. Dolphin. Dolphins not only enjoy great freedom and safety, but unlike most mobs that enjoy these privileges, the dolphins also play a vital role in helping the player navigate the oceans, and they clearly know how to have fun, which makes the dolphin a strong contender in the list. Amazing life. Ender Dragon. The Ender Dragon is in a league of its own when it comes to freedom, boasting the highest freedom score among all mobs. Ruling over the vast and desolate end, it roams without restrictions, unbound by structures, biomes, or players' whims. While its purpose is tied to being the ultimate boss fight and the key to unlocking the end's secrets, its existence is fraught with conflict, as it's the singular target of every player who steps into its domain. Despite this, the Ender Dragon's ability to freely soar through the skies and dominate its world makes its life a rare blend of power and peril, until you pull out the beds. Good life. Enderman. The Enderman is a fascinating creature that manages to enjoy a relatively great life despite being one of the most sought after mobs in the game. Its ability to teleport wherever it pleases grants it immense freedom, making it almost impossible to be entrapped by players or the environment. Its purpose revolves around ender pearls, which are essential for game progression, putting the Enderman under constant threat. Despite all of it, Endermen enjoy amazing lives. Endermite. The Endermite is the unfortunate bearer of the lowest purpose index among all mobs, and its existence reflects that harsh reality. Spawned rarely and only as a byproduct of using ender pearls, it serves no real purpose to the player, offering neither useful drops nor significant gameplay value. Its low freedom score stems from its short lifespan and inability to roam freely, while its safety index is abysmally low, due to being aggressively targeted by Endermen and easily dispatched by players. With no meaningful purpose and constant danger, the Endermite is a primal example of horrible life. Farm animals. Farm animals in Minecraft experience a wide spectrum of lifestyles depending on their purpose and the way players interact with them. Chickens, for instance, have one of the worst lives, earning a bad life ranking. While they provide free unique items, meat, feathers, and eggs, their high utility makes them one of the most frequently farmed and slaughtered animals. This constant exploitation leaves them with a low freedom and safety scores. Cows in comparison fare slightly better, achieving an okay life status. While they are still farmed extensively for their meat, leather, and milk, it is their ability to drop leather, an essential resource for game progression, through bookshelves and enchanting, that solidified their importance. This importance gives them a slight edge over chickens in both purpose and treatment. Pigs, on the other hand, lead a more carefree existence. Since they only drop pork, they are less desirable for large-scale farming compared to cows and chickens. This reduced utility grants them a higher freedom score, earning them an okay life ranking. Sheep, though, also in the okay life tier, have a different story. While they're heavily farmed, it is primarily for their wool, a resource that doesn't require their death. This small mercy gives them better safety prospects than most other animals. The donkey, horse, and mule share similar fates, with their freedom limited by saddles, leashes, and a life tethered to players' needs. Among them, the horse stands out for its unmatched speed and jumping ability, making it an essential travel companion, which understandably puts it at a higher risk for dangers. The donkey, while slower, compensates with its ability to carry chests, proving invaluable for transporting goods. Meanwhile, the mule offers a practical balance between the two, inheriting the horse's agility and the donkey's utility. Despite their differences, all three lead relatively safe and content lives. Together, they exemplify the role of loyal, hard-working companions in the Minecraft world. Donkey, horse, and mule all get a good life. Fishes. Fishes in Minecraft occupy a unique niche, with their lives ranging from bad life to somewhat better fates. Let's start with the cod and salmon, which share similar roles. These fish are a decent early game food source for players and a favorite snack for axolotls, making them highly sought after. While they enjoy some freedom in the vast oceans, their ability to navigate these waters is not entirely unobstructed. With their low purpose and safety scores, they lead a bad life. Tropical fish, on the other hand, offer more utility, earning a slight edge in purpose over their cod and salmon counterparts. Their unique patterns make them a popular choice for aquariums and decorative builds, resulting in their frequent capture. While they bring a splash of color to Minecraft's oceans and builds, their frequent collection for aesthetic purposes leaves them with little freedom and safety, putting them at a bad life. Finally, there is the pufferfish, which leads a distinctly different existence compared to other fish. With the highest freedom score of all fish, pufferfish can roam the oceans with fewer restrictions and even defend themselves by puffing up and poisoning nearby threats. This natural deterrent gives them a significantly better safety and happiness scores. Additionally, their purpose is bolstered by their use in brewing water-breathing potions, making them more valuable to players in the long run. Despite these advantages, their lives are far from being perfect, but they certainly lead a better life compared to other aquatic mobs. Good life. Fox. The fox has limited freedom tied to taiga biomes and often trapped or tamed for its unique abilities like carrying items. While it has a moderate purpose due to these traits, its happiness and safety are low. Foxes are quick to flee from threats but remain vulnerable, making their life far from ideal. Despite their utility, they lead a bad life overall, with restricted freedom and safety. Frog. The frog has a decent amount of freedom, but is restricted to the swamp and mangrove biomes. Its purpose is tied to the unique frog lights it can produce when eating magma slimes. Frogs are generally safe in their environments, with few threats, and their happiness is fairly high because of their minimal risk. Overall, the frog enjoys a good life. Ghast. The Ghast is one of the more free mobs, with a high freedom index due to its ability to fly and roam across the nether. Its purpose is somewhat limited to being a source for Ghast tears. Despite this, its happiness score is middling, since its cry suggests a deeper, more tragic backstory, being trapped souls, as explored in one of my previous videos. But when observing the objective facts, the Ghast has an overall good life. Goat. The goat has a decent life overall, with a moderate freedom index as it can roam mountainous regions freely. However, its purpose score is bolstered by the fact that players may farm goats for their rare goat horns, which are valuable for certain gameplay mechanics. While goats enjoy a good level of safety, since they are not often targeted by many mobs, their happiness score remains solid as they are not heavily exploited, though they might get farmed occasionally. All in all, goats lead a good life, offering utility while still maintaining a free amount of freedom and safety. Guardian Family. The Guardian family, consisting of Guardians and Elder Guardians, or small and big, leads lives tied to underwater monuments, giving them a decent freedom index as they navigate the ocean depths freely but remain confined to their structures. Their purpose index reflects their significant role as defenders of the ocean monuments. However, their happiness score remains low as their existence revolves around combat and eventual defeat at the hands of players seeking to rejuvenate SpongeBob from the bottom of the ocean. The safety index differs between the two. Guardians are highly vulnerable despite their ranged attacks, while the Elder Guardians' higher health and mining fatigue force the player to go through all of these to get to the big guy at the end. Overall, the Guardian family lives an okay life. At least the Elder Guardian does, while his tiny workers suffer under long working hours, putting them at a bad life. Hoglins and Zoglins. The Hoglin and Zoglin may share a common origin, but their lives diverge dramatically. Hoglins, native to the Crimson Forest, live restricted lives due to their biome dependency and vulnerability, reflected in their low freedom and safety scores. They serve a notable purpose as a primary food source in the Nether, which increases their utility but also makes them frequent targets of hunting. Their happiness index remains modest due to the constant threats they face. Zoglins, on the other hand, are the result of Hoglins entering the overworld and succumbing to zombification. This transformation grants them higher freedom, as they are no longer bound to a specific biome, but at the cost of a significant drop in purpose. Zoglins serve no functional utility for players. Their aggressive behavior, attacking anything in sight, makes them a chaotic presence, but their happiness remains low due to their cursed, unnatural existence. While they are slightly safer than Hoglins due to their increased hostility, the Zoglin leads a feral life, defined by unrelenting aggression and isolation. Both have a bad life. Illagers. The Pillager Gang, or how I like to call them, the Mexican Cartel, is a group of hostile mobs that thrive on chaos and raids, but their lives differ significantly in purpose and freedom. Pillagers, Vindicators, and Evokers all share a high freedom score, as they roam freely during raids and patrols, untethered by biome restrictions or player control. Their purpose is tied to raids and protecting woodland mansions, and they have identical happiness and safety scores, reflecting their shared roles and survival challenges in battle. Despite being dangerous to players, they live risky lives due to their susceptibility to player attacks. Good life. Ravagers, on the other hand, are villager-esque horses on steroids. Whatever they are, their freedom is lower since they rely on Illagers for movement, and their purpose is primarily as a raid enforcer, which makes them valuable but also exposes them to high risks. Their happiness and safety are consequently lower than their Illager counterparts, emphasizing their role as expendable powerhouses. Okay life. Vaxes, the spectral minions summoned by evokers, are a tragic case. Their low purpose reflects their temporary existence, as they vanish after a brief period. While their flight grants them decent mobility, their low happiness and safety stem from their ephemeral nature and vulnerability in combat. In the chaotic life of the Mexican Cartel, Vaxes suffer the most, doomed to a fleeting and unfulfilled existence. Bad life. Okay, things are getting a bit slow, so let's speed this up a bit. Iron Golem. Despite its low freedom and happiness scores, the Iron Golem's high purpose index reflects its value as the protector of villagers. However, its life is largely dictated by others, making its existence rather grim. Bad life. Llama. Llamas enjoy moderate freedom and high safety, often used as pack animals. While they may lack a strong purpose, their independence and ability to spit at threats give them an okay life. Mooshroom. Mushrooms have a unique purpose, producing mushroom stew and suspicious stew, which boosts their happiness and purpose index. Limited to the mushroom fields biome, they enjoy safety from hostile mobs, but their rarity leaves them somewhat isolated. Amazing life. Panda. Pandas enjoy high happiness and safety thanks to their peaceful nature and adorable quirks like rolling and eating bamboo. They thrive in bamboo jungles but lack significant purpose beyond aesthetic appeal. Good life. Parrot. Parrots are charming companions with moderate freedom and happiness. Their ability to mimic sounds is entertaining, but their fragility and limited purpose keep them from soaring too high. Amazing life. Phantom. Phantoms are free to roam the skies, giving them one of the highest freedom scores. However, their sole purpose is to attack sleep-deprived players, which combined with their hostility results in a questionable existence. Okay life. The Piglin Family. The Piglin thrives in the Nether with a high purpose score due to bartering, but its safety is limited by its aggressive tendencies and vulnerability to attacks. The Piglin brood, while slightly freer and safer, lacks utility beyond guarding bastions. Zombified Piglins have a moderate score across the board, wandering aimlessly in the Nether yet immune to further transformation. Piglin good life, the rest okay life. Polar Bear. Polar bears enjoy a high level of freedom and safety in snow biomes with a peaceful existence, unless provoked. However, their limited purpose keeps them from truly thriving. Rabbit. Rabbits have moderate freedom and happiness, hopping around multiple biomes. However, their low safety score reflects their position as easy prey, and their purpose remains limited because, let's talk the truth, nobody uses jump boost potions. Okay, life. Shulker. Shulkers are unique in their utility due to shulker boxes. They enjoy moderate freedom, but their happiness and safety scores are low due to their stationary nature and vulnerability and end cities. Okay, life. Silverfish. Silverfish are elusive pests emerging from infested blocks to attack. While their freedom and purpose are minimal, their low happiness and safety reflect their hostile yet insignificant role in the game. Okay, life. The Skeleton Family. The Skeleton family faces diverse struggles, each variation adapting to its environment with different degrees of success. The skeleton enjoys moderate freedom, roaming the overworld freely, but its low safety score reflects how frequently it ends up as a target. Its purpose remains average, with its arrow drops aiding players in combat, but its overall life is far from being ideal. The stray, bound to icy biome, sacrifices some safety for an even lower purpose score, as its tipped arrows rarely offer much advantage. The bugged, on the other hand, is significantly more confined, restricted to swamps and trial chambers. Its purpose is minimal, and its abysmal happiness index reflects its cursed existence as an expendable entity. Meanwhile, the wither skeleton, while trapped in the nether fortress, fares better in purpose thanks to its role as gatekeeper for nether advancements. However, its safety and happiness remain grim due to its eternal status as a highly sought after mob. Altogether, these skeleton mobs live precarious lives, defined by danger and exploitation. The bugged has a horrible life, while the rest have a bad life. Skeleton horse. I didn't know whether to put the skeleton horse in the skeletons or horses category, so it gets its own category. Skeleton horses have a decent safety score, as most players tend to spare them to serve as a unique mount, adding to their purpose. However, their low happiness reflects disappointment after finding out that instead of being free, they're just going to be under new management. Good life. The slime family. Slimes have a constrained existence, bound to specific spawning conditions, with low happiness and abysmal safety due to being an easy kill, granting it the lowest safety score among all mobs. Magma cubes, on the other hand, enjoy higher freedom and slightly better scores due to their nether habitat reinforcing their existence and them being slightly stronger than their overworld counterparts. Horrible and okay life. Sniffer. Sniffers, though recently added, have limited freedom but score high in purpose due to their ability to uncover ancient seeds. Their happiness and safety are moderate, reflecting their peaceful but vulnerable nature. Bad life. Snow Golem. Snow golems are highly confined with low scores along the board. They exist mostly as utility mobs for snow farming or weak defenses, making them fragile and expendable. Horrible life. Spider family. Spiders have relatively high freedom due to their climbing abilities, with moderate purpose as a source of string and spider eyes. Cave spiders, while more dangerous, are restricted to mine shafts, lowering their freedom but slightly increasing their utility. Okay and bad life. Squid family. Squids have moderate freedom and purpose due to their role in providing ink sacs, but their low safety highlights their vulnerability in water. Glowing squids score lower in freedom, as glow ink is more sought after. Bad and horrible life. Strider. Striders enjoy high freedom and happiness as peaceful mobs in the nether, offering safe travel across lava lakes. Their role as mounts gives them a significant purpose, and they are relatively safe when undisturbed. Amazing life. Turtle. Turtles are highly constrained by their reliance on beaches, with low freedom but strong purpose tied to squid farming and egg production. Their safety is middling, reflecting their vulnerability during and after laying an egg. Okay life. Villager family. Villagers are some of the most valuable mobs, scoring very high in purpose due to trading mechanics, but suffering from low freedom and happiness, as they are often confined and exploited by players. Wandering traders, however, enjoy greater freedom as they roam, but lack the utility of their village-bound counterparts. Bad and okay life. Warden. The Warden is a powerhouse of safety and intimidation, thriving in the deep dark with decent freedom even though it's mostly confined. However, its purpose is limited to guarding ancient cities, and its happiness is dampened by its solitary existence. Okay life. Witch. Witches have high freedom, appearing in multiple biomes and structures. While they serve some purpose as potion ingredient sources, their happiness and safety scores reflect their constant conflict with players. Okay life. Wither. The Wither enjoys high freedom despite needing the input of a player, as it is only summoned by players. The Nether Star is one of the most prestigious items in the game, though its happiness and safety scores remain low due to the fact that players can easily trap it if they wanted to. Okay life. Wolf. Wolves are versatile mobs with good freedom and high purpose as companions. Their happiness reflects their bonding potential with players, though their safety can be compromised when they defend their owners. Good life. And finally, the Zombie family. Zombies dominate the freedom index, spawning almost anywhere, but their low purpose and happiness reflect their mindless aggression. Husks and the drowned have slight variations in purpose and safety due to their unique biomes and drops. Zombie villagers, however, have greater purpose due to their potential for curing, making them more valuable. Zombie and husk, bad life, drowned and zombie villager, okay life. Now the time everyone has been waiting for, the grand reveal. The mob with the lowest average score along all 4 criterion is the Endermite, followed by the Creaking, Slime, and finally Snow Golem. And the mob with the highest average score is the Dolphin, absolutely dominating the top, followed by the Strider, which might come as a surprise since they live in literal hell, but he's just a chill guy, followed closely by the Mooshroom and Ocelot. Hopefully you didn't skip all the way to the end, but if you did, well, hope you enjoyed the little bit of what you did watch. This project took me literal weeks trying to put together. I tried to figure out how to calculate everything as objectively as possible and to the best of my ability. So if you don't agree with some of the ratings, let me know in the comments, because this is by no means perfect. Make sure to subscribe if you liked the video. I would appreciate it a lot, and I would be able to justify myself for spending all this time calculating the quality of life of literal Minecraft mobs.